Step into the world of estate planning, probate, and wills and trusts with the Del Toro Law Podcast. Leading the way is your host, attorney Peter Del Toro.
What exactly is a living will or advanced healthcare directive? Learn all about it from our expert estate attorney. Welcome back, everyone. This is Garfield Bowen, co-host / producer, back in the studio with attorney Peter Del Toro. Peter, how you doing today?
Excellent. How about you?
I am blessed. I can't complain about anything today. So,
Yes, sir.
Peter, what is a living will, aka advanced healthcare directive?
Okay, a living will or healthcare directive is a legal document that makes your wishes known should something happen to you healthcare-wise. So when I put these together, I like to put a living will. I combine it with a healthcare surrogate and also all the HIPAA releases. So the living will is going to let the hospital, let the doctor, let anyone in the world know, hey, if I have an end-stage condition or I have a terminal condition or I'm in a vegetative state, I want you to do everything possible or I want you to do nothing. It's your wishes are known and you sign off on that. That way we know if you came in and you were stage 4 cancer, you're getting treated in the hospital, and God forbid you coded, we're gonna let the hospital know, hey, try to revive me or let me go. I'm so sick, I don't want those kind of measures. So it respects your autonomy and your dignity in your healthcare decisions. And along with that, we also designate a healthcare surrogate. So sometimes it's husband and wife and the husband's sick and they say, these are my wishes, but my wife has ultimate say. You know, if I'm unconscious, you check with her and she can make decisions or she can talk to the doctor on my behalf. And we also put the HIPAA releases in there where they can access people's, husband can access a wife's medical chart and vice versa. Or maybe it's a friend taking care of you or a son or a daughter. We put all these into one document and it streamlines the process of having to, God forbid, let's say my wife passed and now my daughter's taking care of me and I'm in the hospital and we don't have any of these forms. Well, the hospital may or may not deal with my daughter. They may not talk to her. So she might have to go establish a guardianship for thousands of dollars in order to act on my behalf, where I could have just done that in advance. These documents are a couple $100. It's better to do it that way where it's pre-done and pre-known. And when we draft up one, you'll see them from one page. Mine's about 14, 15 pages because I'm a lawyer, right? So I put all the definitions in there. We're not going to dispute what end-stage condition is because I have it defined. We're not going to dispute what terminal condition is because I have it defined. So we make some very thorough documents that just makes the process so much easier. God forbid one of your loved ones is in the hospital and you have to make a decision. Everything is right there in front of you. So it's a very, very important document to have. And I bundle those with all of the estate plannings that I do. I always make sure everybody has that because while we're all going to pass away one day, a good chance of us are going to be in the hospital, we're going to be incapacitated, and we need to make our desires and our wishes known so we're respected, and also appoint someone that can help us through that process.
Peter, let's talk about the emotional side about this. Emotional side of this a little bit. You got somebody, mother or father, in the hospital. They may have 3 or 4 kids, and they got to make a decision. Now,
Sure.
You got the stress, crying and wailing, and they got to make a decision. And it's hard making a decision when you're emotional.
It is.
So how can some of these documents help with the decision-making process?
So let's say there's 2 children and, they want mom's in the hospital and one says, she's not going to make it. We shouldn't do any more. And the other one wants to do everything possible. Well, if mom had a document saying one way or the other, that would help, right? That mom saying, I don't want these heroic measures, let me go. Then we know what she wanted. And then also I always try to tell people, we try to designate one person as the healthcare surrogate and then a backup. We don't want to have co-healthcare surrogates because let's say, Garfield, you're my mom's in the hospital and you want to pull the plug and I want to do everything we can. Now we're both we have to act together. Where we end up? We end up in court, we're trying to avoid that. That's the whole purpose of these documents, So when emotions get involved, it's better to have your wishes known in advance. And then it's also better to have one person calling the shots rather than, too many cooks spoiling the pot, let's say,
So you got to just get your living will. If you don't have one, you need to ask your aunts, your uncles, your parents if they have one in place, and make sure it's in place. And attorney Peter Del Toro can make it all happen for you, right?
Yes, sir. I mean, I've seen families just get torn apart because they weren't in place and everybody was fighting. And then I've seen it where, one person makes a decision. They might not be happy with that decision, but they were appointed there for a reason by the person that's in that hospital bed, and they make a decision, and people usually get over that. So it's just better to do that up front. And, like I said, I've seen so many different stories, and, it's always better to have these documents in place than not. It saves a lot of hard feelings down the road.
Love it. Peter, you have a wonderful rest of the day. We'll see you in the next episode.
Great. Thank you, Garfield. You have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Del Toro Law Podcast, your source for estate planning, probate, and wills and trusts. For a complimentary consultation, visit deltoro.law or give us a call at 772-444-0101. That's 772-444-0101.